News at 10.
There's an amazing story. A horrific on-the-job accident severely burned a Milwaukee man and left him literally without a face.
We need to tell you, you may find his appearance shocking, but as reporter Nick BOHR shows us, what you'll remember about him is how he's risen above the disaster. It's a story you'll see only on 12.
A lot of times that's the reason we didn't go out is because of the way I look, you know.
It's hard to understand just what a victory this is for Randy Steffen and his wife Laura, a Southridge shopping trip that doesn't draw gawking stares and questions. To understand, you need to know just how far he's come. Randy's 6-year journey goes back to this moment, October 3rd, 2000 at First and Mineral. He was power washing a building from a motorized lift when the basket swayed too close to the power lines.
They thought he was up there working, so they start yelling at him, "Hey, buddy, move the lift." Well, then they kind of see smoke coming off of his head, and he's just sitting in the lift.
Firefighters scrambled to reach him and found injuries so severe they immediately called in Flight for Life.
The only thing I can remember was I heard helicopter blades.
Randy blessedly remembers little.
I was looking at the big Allen Bradley clock, and it was 20 minutes to 3. And from then on, I don't know what happened. And I woke up in the hospital 3 months later.
The 3 months were behind him, an arm amputation, many skin grafts. But it would be another 5 months here at St. Mary's with literally dozens of other surgeries before Randy could go home.
I told Laura, explain to me what my face looks like. She says, I can't. Your face is burnt right off.
I thought he'd be home by Thanksgiving. He was by Memorial Day.
Randy could still hear, but the accident left him blind.
At that time, he was fully functional verbally and aware of his surroundings and aware of, the accident. And I thought he is just going to die in a nursing home. He can't go to a nursing home. He's got to go home with me. And everybody's like, well, how are you going to do this? And I'm like, minute by minute.
The minutes have stretched to 6 years. Now Randy's ready for the next step. Silicone prosthetics to help remake his face, because even after all the surgeries, there's nothing more the doctors can do.
For the last 6 years, we've been going, when we're out in public, whatever, somebody always is staring at me, or, little kids, get all scared and stuff like that. And, you try to explain it to them. That's all you can do.
The soft tissue looks better on this side.
Medical illustrator Julie Jordan Brown is making what Randy calls his mask. His new prosthetic face begins with a mold, the same process the Hollywood special effects artists use. This one is for his nose.
His son volunteered and came in and had a mold taken just like Randy's doing today, and that gave us a basic shape to work with.
Randy's already had metal posts implanted for prosthetic ears, which snap into place.
There you go.
And are held on with magnets. The goal, of course, is to help Randy appear as he did before the accident as much as possible. He may have lost his face.
All my therapists, they're all teasing me, well, who are you going to look like? Antonio Banderas or Brad Pitt or...
But he never lost his sense of humor.
Okay.
It's a time-consuming process with Randy and Laura coming and going again and again over a period of months.
Okay, we're ready to give this a try.
Leading up to this final fitting.
And then what we'll do is just slide the prosthesis, Randy, up and under until the magnets make contact.
Okay.
And it's pretty clear when they make contact.
The results are striking and heartwarming for Laura.
It's been a long time since I've seen him with a mustache or a nose or ears.
I'm ready for the cover of GQ. I think everybody's going to think it looks pretty darn good. I know my wife sure does, so that's the most important. She's the #1 comment, so she thinks it looks good, it looks good.
Randy and Laura will soon move from their Milwaukee rental to their new house in Franklin. The prosthetics, the home, the Steffens' new start, all possible because of a financial settlement.
Everything all of a sudden at once all went good.
More than 2 years after the accident, Randy and Laura, faced with mounting medical bills and ongoing care, approached Habush, and Rottier.
Wasn't a guy who sat around and said, woe is me. I mean, Randy lost his ears, his nose, his eyesight, most of his face in burns, but he's a guy that never sat around saying, I deserve something.
Just 2 weeks before the trial last fall, We Energy settled for $5 million.
We're just so happy that everything worked out well for both him and Laura.
Laura and Randy married just 2 years before the accident. She has stayed by his side through it all.
I'm his wife. that was for better or for worse, and they brought me for worse right up front and center real quick. 2 years into it, and there I was. Okay, how much worse can it get?
You know, I couldn't ask for anybody a better wife than her. You know, and that's kind of what made me get through all this. Everybody that saw that I was gonna make the best of it went right along and supported me like that.
Randy goes back to the hospital, not for treatment, but to encourage other burn victims. He deflects a suggestion that he's an inspiration.
I don't think of myself like, you know, somebody special or something. I just, you know, it's me. It's Randy.
A Randy who now feels more confident to do the simple things like shopping at Southridge.
You know, and now I think, I mean, they'll see me, maybe they'll say, oh, you wonder what happened to that guy, why is he in a wheelchair? But they won't know that
They won't look twice.
my whole face is, is completely fixed back up. It's been a long time.
A long time to develop a long view on life.
You know, there's some things I can't do anymore. But, I mean, now, heck, I'm kind of enjoying stuff. You know, we're going to have our first house. You know, you know, life goes on. I mean, we can't just sit back and say, oh, yeah, poor me, you know, we had this, we had that.
It's not about what he had. It's about what he has.
Look out, world, here I come.
Randy is still holding out hope that he may see again someday. One of his eyes remains intact, but because of the scarring, he can't see with it. Randy says doctors tell him that future technology may allow his sight to be restored.
All I can say is, wow. He doesn't think he's an inspiration. I'd say he's an inspiration.
Yeah, I spent many days with him over the last few months.
And you've been following that literally for months and months.
Right, and he really is an inspiration and a great sense of humor, and one of those people that where you meet them and you think you're having a bad day maybe, and you just remember Randy and think, boy, if this guy can be up about it, I sure can too.
What about, he has trouble walking. Might that get better?
They hope that it will. His legs were affected. They're not sure exactly what happened to them, a combination of the accident and, of course, laying in the hospital bed for 8 months. He can still take a few steps. It's very unsteady, and another one of those things they're hoping will improve with time.
What about the medical bills? They must be astronomical.
Right, at least $2 million worth, more than 40 surgeries. Randy has continual issues with his skin grafts that will need attention for the rest of his life, but again, he's upbeat about that. Like everything else, he said, hey, that's my life now, and I'm going to move on, and things are looking pretty good. That's what he said. I'm pretty happy. Things are going well.
Look out, world, here I come.
Yeah, he doesn't think he's someone special. A lot of people would disagree with that.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's amazing.